America podcast, where we highlight holistic wellness, travel, mental health, and self-care through traveling outside of America to reconnect and rediscover who you are. It's time for us to leave any condition that disrupts our peace. Black Women Leave America opens your eyes and explores new ways of living, but more importantly, new ways of being. Because sometimes you have to leave in order to find yourself. Hey everyone, welcome. This is Black Women Leave America, the live edition, and we're doing another reaction video. But this time we're actually reacting to a TV show for a guest that we have.
Okay, so I don't know if Avalaura is frozen or if I am frozen, but I guess I'm frozen. So we are reacting to a video from a guest that we had on the podcast before. And here is Avalaura back
I'm
again.
back.
Yay! Let's just love live streams. I'm like, am I frozen?
Right? I was like, oh no! As soon as I started talking. So Nicole Brewer, who's in Oman, and so we're gonna be reacting to her video, also talking about how to teach abroad, right? Like, so many of you are always asking questions around, well, how do I move? How do I make money? That's a big one. How do I make money? What do I do? Well, I don't have a business, right? Because there's a lot of business owners. One of the jobs you can get is teaching abroad. So we're excited to share her story. Of course, you can also, we'll have the link as well, where you can go to the interview that we had with her. I think we've had her on twice. We had an interview with her initially, and then she was also a part of our conference that we had, like, what, a couple years ago. So so we've talked to her a couple times, so you can get some information from that as well. So Jessica, you ready? We can just go ahead on and get started.
All right.
Being in Oman, like, I'm very relaxed. Like, I don't have as much stress. They welcome me. They say, oh, hello, sister. Like, I'm one of them. It's been very great. Like, I wouldn't have stayed as long as I had if it wasn't a good life here. My name is Nicole Brewer. I'm 43 years old, and I'm an English teacher, travel advisor, and travel writer living in Oman. Initially, when I was looking into moving into the Middle East, I was first considering Dubai because, obviously everybody knows the UAE. Honestly, it was just by chance, by the grace. I came across the posting for mine and decided to give it a go. I am a travel blogger influencer for my site I Love the Globetrots. Additionally, I am a travel advisor, so I help plan and book trips for my clients. So I am living in a fully furnished 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, which is around 250 Omani Riyal a month. So that's like around $650 US per month that I pay in rent. All of my utilities are included. So like my water, electricity, they even have internet included here. The only thing that I pay for outside of that will be my cell phone bill.
All right, let's stop it right there. Let's stop it right there. $650.
So remember, homegirl, where was she, in Costa Rica or somewhere? And she was like $650, and I was like, I want to see it. Okay, we just saw hers, and she said it was furnished. So she didn't even have to get furniture. That's utilities and furnished. 2-bedroom, 2-bath for $650.
With utilities included. Let's not forget that part.
Including internet.
Including utilities and internet.
Y'all.
And here I am looking at Xfinity and AT&T, like, which one do I want to? But they both cost a lot of money.
I mean, you gonna pay at least 100. At
At
least there's
least
people
100.
paying 200, but at least 100 off of that, and she paying 650. Y'all, let me tell you something. At first, right? And I remember a lot of Nicole's interview because she's in the a Muslim country, and I remember like she's not Muslim, y'all. Just so y'all, she's in a Muslim country, and she was talking about how much she loved it. When you first see it, it says she made 44,000 a year. You like, dang, like that's like slave wages, right? Like who the heck is making $44,000 a year? And she's a teacher. But now when you see how far her money goes, well, she don't, okay, she can live off of 44,000 a year. And Nicole travels. I don't know if she talks about that. I remember that because of the location, because of where she is. There's so many places that she can go to. She travels. So listen, she out there living her best life. Okay, but we can continue. But my God, $650. Okay. Furnished with utilities. I can't hear you.
Myself. We interviewed her on our podcast, and she, like I said, it says 2 years, but it might have been even longer than
It
2
was
years.
longer than that.
Yeah,
It was longer than that. Like that's probably when we posted it.
right,
But so it was probably 2.5, 3 years ago.
right. And so it's been quite a while. And like she said, she's been in that in that location for 12 years now. So
Yeah.
really interesting, super interesting. So definitely go check out our interview with her. You can hear personally from her why she did it. I'm sure she's going to talk a little bit more about that in this interview. So let's go ahead and get
I
into
think she goes into more detail probably in ours because I think they do broad strokes. So I
right.
think she went into a lot more details. So yeah, if you're really interested, one, in teaching abroad, definitely watch our video. Two, if you're interested in, that part of the world, right? Because like she said, she was thinking about Dubai. A lot of people are thinking about Dubai, the UAE. You'll understand why she chose Oman and has stayed there. Like she loves it.
Right.
For many reasons. I know safety being one of them. Like I remember she was saying like she leaves her door unlocked. Like who does that?
Yeah, we
So
both feel like,
right, like who in the world is doing that?
what?
So yeah, it's you definitely want to check it out. It's a really good interview.
Okie dokie, here we go. Let's go ahead and go back into her interview.
Technology.
25 to 30 Omani Riel, probably a week on groceries. So that's equivalent to about $75 to $80. So I eat out like once a week, if that. So if you add that in, maybe like $400 on food. I would definitely say that like travel has been a passion of mine. Honestly, since before moving abroad, like I realized that I had a curiosity at a young age. Namibia was absolutely beautiful. The Seychelles. Like one of the things about living in the Middle East, middle of the world, is just the location. The African countries, like I'm very grateful to have opportunity to go to because they're quite expensive to get to from the States. So I've been trying to take advantage of where I am. This past January actually was my winter break, so I ended up spending a week in Bali. It was an abnormal amount of spending for the month of January because I was planning for my winter break. I'd say that in a year, maybe I would take 2 or 3 big trips.
Wait a minute. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Did you see that? Her
Yes.
phone is $10.
It's at $10. The
$10.
The Netflix is 15.
Oh my
Speaking of
God.
phones, how your
Wow.
phone going off in the podcast? That's funny, y'all.
You know what? We lost.
She's spending $400 in groceries. That's almost as much as her rent.
That is crazy. That's
Y'all,
crazy. Look, if Kai Cenat could run from a rat in his live stream, I could have my phone ring in mine. So
oh, wait, what? That's a little too real. I know people are nosy, but that's a little too much.
Oh goodness, anywho.
I don't need that in my life. I don't need to see that.
Anywho, back to the review.
So then maybe just like a weekend trip every so often to Dubai. I paid my credit cards down to zero. Even traveling to like Bali last month, I did have, some expenses, hotels, what have you. I paid on my credit card, but I paid it completely off. So I'm very happy to report that my credit card debt has actually gone down to zero. I didn't think it would be to find a new job, but that was at the beginning of like the recession back then. So I just recall I was on unemployment for about 5 months, and I think I had 6 months of unemployment available. So getting down to that last month, I remember I got scared and I was like, okay, what do you want to do if your unemployment runs out, you don't have a job? It was really out of desperation, if I'm going to be honest with you. Like when I was getting to that point of getting ready to run out of my financial assistance, initially I told myself I would only leave for like a year or two once the economy got better. And 15 years later, I'm still gone. So like honestly, I am like a traveler at heart. When I decided to go to Korea, I basically only had 2 suitcases packed. Fortunately, at that time, being recruited to work for the education department in Korea, they help set you up like when you're first moving to a new country. They help you with relocation. Oman really wasn't on my radar.
Can't hear you.
One thing that this reminds me of, I was unmuting. One thing that this reminds me of is remember that scene from The Karate Kid with what's her face? What is her name? Oh my god, Taraji P. Henson. And she was on Karate Kid and she moved to karate to wherever she moved to. Was she teaching? I can't remember. But that made me think of that. Was she teaching when she moved
I don't
there?
remember
Or
her
was she?
teaching. This was the one with Jaden, right?
Yes.
I,
Anyway, y'all let us know in the comments.
you know
if
what's
she was
funny? I
teaching or not.
remember the original more than that one, even though that's more recent. I still remember the original. So I'm like, I don't even remember.
But that just brought to mind The Karate Kid, and when she had moved there and how he was kind of saying how different it was, but everybody was kind of like embracing them and bringing them in. It kind of seems like she had the similar experience.
Well, here's
where
the
she was
thing, right? Especially like in an Asian country, like we clearly stand out. But
right.
you know what I mean? Like America's a little different because you have like a little bit of everybody where, a lot of these countries you go to, it is strictly, you go to an Asian country, is predominantly Asian. So you stick out like a sore thumb. Where here you can still kind of blend in because there's a lot of Asian people, and you got whole areas where it's like Chinatown and, Korea, little Korea. Like it's so there's those segments, right? And then don't be a Black woman. So, but what I have found, and I'm sure, and I'm pretty sure she talked about this. So if you go to our interview, they were probably more fascinated, and curious, right? Yeah. Because I think we talked about like dating, we talked about like all of that. So
right.
Yeah.
So I looked it up. She worked in a restaurant. Oh, interesting. Anywho, that was in 2010. So maybe, it'd be interesting to see how films adapt Black women in other spaces now that a lot of Black women are moving to other spaces.
Listen, they got a whole TV show featuring us. Like, how many times have we referenced this show? This is the first time we've seen one of our previous guests. But this is frequent. Like all of these Black women who have moved abroad that they're interviewing to basically say the way that you can make it. I keep telling y'all the cheat code is move abroad. That is the cheat code. And all of them have all different types of ways of making a living, but like none of them, except the one who was in Iceland, they're not making that much money.
Yeah, so is CNBC trying to tell us something? Maybe that should be the podcast.
She got student loan debt. She has savings. She has investments. She's paid off all of her credit cards, and she's making $44,000 a year.
Yeah.
How many of us are making six figures in debt to our eyeballs? We got the car, the house, the bills, the student loans, what have you. Like the cheat code is saying, I'm out.
That would seem as though that's the case.
I really didn't know much about the country, but I remember specifically I saw a job posting on a site called SeriousTeachers.com for Oman, and I was like, this looks interesting. So after seeing that posting, I ended up researching Oman, and I was like, wow, this is a very beautiful country.
Hold on, the ads. So let's go ahead and review some of the...
Well, she told y'all where to go look. So one, she said, so Korea, they actually, I forgot the organization, but if you go back, the organization that she named, they recruited her. But then Oman, she went to a website and found out about this job.
Mm-hmm.
So she gave y'all some information y'all need to check out if you're interested.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and hop back into it.
I have had an incredible experience living in Oman. You know, it's a very safe and peaceful country. You know, obviously there's a culture shock when you first land, but I feel like I'm pretty flexible and I was able to go with the flow. I definitely have taken on like the Omani culture of just like, inshallah, like what will be is kind of like the phrase here in particular in Oman. Thinking back on my time in the States, I probably was way more uptight, way more just like angry, you know, what have you. Just like the energy of being back home, it was very toxic in certain ways. Since we have the universities here, there's a decent amount of expats here in the city. There's opportunities to spend time and hang out with my friends, but if I really want to let my hair down, I have to go to Muscat or to Dubai. I probably go to Muscat about once or twice a month on average. I don't really fear living here as a Black woman. When I'm back home in the States, obviously you look at the political climate and things that are happening back home. You know, it's a struggle. I honestly, I worry about like my friends and my family back home at times. So I am very grateful to live in a country that is so safe. You know, it's definitely not without its challenges. I will say it's not an easy life to be on the other side of the world from your family, especially when emergencies and family situations come up. It's for sure a culture shock for the average person to come to a place that is more conservative, you know, as far as conservative in dress and just like the atmosphere of certain things that you can't discuss. But for someone like me who is very flexible and a very just like laid back, go with the flow type of person, you know, as long as you respect the culture, it's a nice life. It's a good way to live.
Let's stop there.
First of all, the title say I moved to Oman 12 years ago and I'm never coming back to the US. Okay, I am never.
Nicole says she doesn't plan to return to the US.
I'm not mad.
You know what's so interesting about this though too? And you know, as we kind of watch this and CNBC is like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Like, you guys are leaving. Oh, you don't want to come back. I was watching Number One on the Call Sheet. Have you watched that one yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Number One on the Call Sheet is a documentary about all of these Black actors that how they become number one on the call sheet, and that's like the highest prestige you can have in like a movie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're talking about it, and the guy that did what's the name of that movie? Boomerang.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that produced Boomerang said that when he was producing Boomerang, he talked to Eddie Murphy, and you know, when the movie came out, Eddie Murphy, you know, they had all these critics and things, and they were saying like, well, how's this gonna happen? Like, who's running the office? There's no white people. Yeah. And so as I look at this, I almost have that same feeling of they're kind of like, you don't want to come back, like, but you're not around us. Why don't you want to come back and be where we are dominant? And so he was saying that one of the reviews was like, yeah, they live in a world where white people don't exist. And it was like, that's not Boomerang.
No, but
Boomerang
Boomerang is just pro-black. Like, you don't see no white people. And
yeah, it's
nobody
just a
missed
black
them.
company. Yeah. It was so that was just really, I don't know, for some reason that's bringing that up for
Well, you
me
know what got me? She said, now, you know, anytime you travel, right, you leave your family's like, oh, be safe. You know, I want to make sure you're okay. How safe is the country? You know, you're going by
yeah,
yourself. Are you going to be okay? She said, I'm worried about my family back at home.
right.
She worried about us. Okay.
I caught that part too. I caught that too. And that's why I went, dang,
You worried about us?
he's worried about
I'm
us
worried
in
about
America.
us too. I'm worried about
Like,
us too. We
are
should be
you
worried
okay?
about us.
Are y'all okay out there? Because I'm safe. I'm good. Yeah. And so it's almost like this. How how could you say you're not ever coming back? What do you mean?
Never, never, never,
All right,
ever.
so let's hear why she ain't coming back.
You know, as much as I love my friends and my family back in the States, I don't really see myself living there long term unless, you know, an emergency or there's a reason that I have to go back, you know, for family. Of course, I will be willing, but ideally, I would love to retire abroad. My dream location is to be able to go. I would love to like buy a property and so maybe have a hostel where I would be able to generate income from. If someone wanted to live the expat life, I would definitely say to not let fear or like outside voices deter you from your dream. If I would have listened to people about moving to the Middle East, people were like, oh, it's so dangerous. And here I am living my best life, you know, here in Oman, one of the safest countries in the world. Reach out to people like me and other expats who are living in unique places. We are out here, we are on social media, we're on different forums online. I want to pay it forward. People did that for me, so I'm definitely willing to do it for other people.
Oh, cute.
That's funny. She basically said what we just said. And mind you, I didn't watch it, so I didn't even know she was gonna say that. But it's real. And you know, she's you know, she's a beautiful spirit, as you can see that. But it's interesting, again, all the women that we've interviewed, all the women that we've had on our podcast, not one of them said they were coming back. I don't care where they were. Not one of them was like, oh yeah, I'm coming back. Oh yeah, I want to, you know, I want to move back to the States. They might not stay wherever they were, but none of them wanted to come back here.
Come back. So true. Very, very true. You know, I mean, overall, my review of this whole thing is, like I said, it's interesting the way that they kind of write stuff on the screen. It's kind of like she's never coming back. How could you not come back? What was it? Was something else that they put on the screen. I was just like, oh my gosh, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah. So your thoughts, Avalaura? Love to hear your
I
thoughts on
mean,
it.
I wouldn't come back either. If I could make $44,000 a year and live a good life,
Yeah.
I mean, like, we really had to put this in a perspective. I can't tell you how many people I know who make six figures. And I'm not even talking about just $100,000. I'm talking about like multiple six figures. And they're stressed the hell out.
Yeah.
Right. And they have the amount of debt, right? Like I've said that, like, you know, I'm here in the DMV and the money, the amount of money that we spend, like I don't even want to buy another house. I've had 2 houses. I do not want to buy another house because in order for me to get a house that like we're comfortable in as a family, we're gonna be spending about $700,000 to $800,000. It makes
Yep.
no sense. And so now you're paying for your quality of life, your car, your insurance, your home, your insurance, repairs, utilities, food. Like, what the hell am I doing? So I'm just paying, I'm working to pay for my lifestyle. Who want to do that?
Yeah. I just saw a gal on TikTok that was like, okay, so you're telling me I need to hire a baby hire a babysitter or hire a
Girl,
nanny to take care of my baby so I can make more money to hire my babysitter.
the amount of money that people are paying for childcare now is a freaking car note.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
car note plus insurance. It's insanity. And I know
yeah.
somebody they charge like $1,000 a month for childcare. Like it's 1,200 a month for childcare.
And they deserve every penny of it.
And
Just
then
saying.
listen, I'm not saying that they don't, but when you start to pay that, everything adds up. What happens when you lose your job? Like what happens in a COVID situation, right? Where you can't go to work.
Right,
Like it's
right.
it's crazy. Um
It's
Rita's
crazy.
beautiful life. You see her comment?
I hate
I
this
do
thing.
it.
It doesn't
No, I
move.
can't.
Love this video. I love the safety of yeah,
It's
yeah.
the safety for
Safety is
her. It's the safety.
yeah.
Look, because y'all know we spend 600. First of all, I don't know where you can get anything. I don't know where you can get a studio for 650, let alone a two
Facts.
bedroom, 2 bath, furnished with
Fully furnished.
I don't know where you can get that. But I can guarantee you this: if I could get it, it would be in the hood. If I could find an apartment for
Oh
six
my
hundred and fifty
god.
dollars, it would be in the hood.
Uh-huh. Facts. That's facts. That's so facts. I'm just saying it is facts. It's for sure.
Crazy.
Oh gosh.
So we gotta look at, is
Yeah,
it worth it? Like, okay, I'm making $100,000, I'm making $150,000, but my bills are up to here. Is it worth it?
right. It's so worth it. You know, that's really interesting. That's really interesting. Um, every time we do one of these, I always go, "Yeah, it's not. I need to go. I need to leave. I just need to just bounce." And we've had several conversations about what the bounce would look like, you know. But my parents are still here, you know, all the things that kind of keep you from leaving, right? But at the same point, it's like I can come back. And like I said, once I find out that we're okay with the planes, then I might consider it again. It's the only thing is the planes.
Um, I didn't even think about them planes, but I mean, but I know a lot of people are, and for me, I think so, and I can't remember who said this. Somebody that we interviewed. If I look at the fact that I am right now driving 6 hours from my immediate family, my mom, dad, sister, and about an hour flight, and I see them at most twice a year. Why the hell can I live
Mm,
abroad? I
right.
don't see
True.
them now
True.
anyway.
Yeah.
Life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Life. Like
Well,
we
I
have
see
to come
I
up
see my
with things. Okay, let's have this event. Let's do this. That's the only way. My brother, who's in California, I see even less. I might see him like every other year. So why
wow.
can't I live abroad?
Why can't you? Hmm. Why can't you, Avalaura?
Oh, well, these kids. That's honestly the only reason, because once the big ones are done, they're out, graduated, college and all of that. The two little ones, we love their education. I don't want to have to move abroad somewhere and worry about education. That's honestly, that's the hang up. Plus, I can work
That's
from
the hang up.
anywhere, but he can't. So what that
Yeah.
means is then he would need to save up money enough money,
Mhm.
because
Right.
he can do stuff abroad, his business, but then that would have to like thoroughly be underway. So there's things that we need
Right.
to do to prepare. Oh, but trust me, it's intention. It's all the
Right.
intention is there. It's already done.
Right.
So once these two graduate, and then we got the two more that they finish, and they're like, in college or doing their thing, then we're not worried about like what school they're going to, because they go to really good schools, free. We ain't, well, taxpayer, but all of that kind of stuff. I'm not worried about the school system and all of that kind of stuff, because I don't want to worry about that. Like, I don't want to go abroad to an inferior learning opportunity. We don't want to do that.
Yeah. But we would love to hear from you guys what your thoughts are on this, whether you're listening to the podcast or you're watching us on YouTube. Definitely let us know what your thoughts are on this because we'd love to hear your insights. Are you thinking about moving to Oman? Is this like, are you thinking about teaching abroad? What are your thoughts on a lot of the things that Nicole said in her video about the safety
Yeah,
of
how
being
important
there
is
versus
safety? Like, 'cause I
how
think
important
people
is
think about
safety?
that more than I realize, because I don't think about safety. Like, thank God, I've never not felt safe. So I've never
Right,
worried about that, but so many people do. And so many people have
right,
found themselves in situations where they haven't felt safe. So how important is
mm,
safety for you?
right, right. I love that. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode or listening to this episode of Black Women Leave America. You guys can make sure that you go and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are listening. But adversely, on the other end, if you want to listen to us as you drive, you're on your trips, maybe you go into another country and visit, definitely take a listen to the episodes on your favorite podcast streaming platforms. We're all over the internet and interwebs. Any last thoughts, Ava?
Thank you for your support. Listen, our numbers are going up. You can send us stars and all that live streaming. We're monetized that way. We are working on getting monetized the other way. So listen, keep sharing us, keep liking,
Yes.
keep commenting, keep subscribing. You know what I mean? We still looking for volunteers. If you want to be over here, help us out. Because Jessica and I are busy. I don't even know how we still keeping this alive. I think it's like sheer intention that we're keeping this alive, as busy as we are, but we love it. Like, and we love talking to you all. We love the feedback. So keep it coming. But yeah, we could use the support.
Right. All right.